guys. All right. So I hope you guys are having a phenomenal night. Okay. An amazing night. Um, Day, depending on where you are. Okay. It really doesn't matter. Okay. And when I say it doesn't matter, one of the things what I'm merely saying is it is all according to your perception. Okay. So whether it's night or day or whatever it is, your life is going to get better once you start changing that perception. So I had just got finished meditating, okay? And in my meditation, it was a few things that popped up, okay? And one of the things that popped up was about frequency, okay? Now, I remember when I first got into this whole thing pertaining to manifestation, reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, um, doing one of our Proctor's programs and things of that nature. When I first got into this material, I remember I kept hearing um, successful people say it is about you staying on a high frequency, right? And oftentimes I would say, all right, staying on a high frequency, like what do that mean? Okay. I remember when I first started doing videos, I would say that there were two frequencies, but there's so many frequencies. Okay, it's more than two. But the two that I was referring to was the love and fear, right? Is either one or the other. You are either operating from love or fear. Okay. And so, um, as I kept on studying, and I forever be a student, okay. But as I kept studying, one of the things that I had heard Bob Proctor say was that there's many frequencies, and he will always say that you have to stay on a high frequency. The things that you desire, okay, they are on a certain frequency. They are on a higher frequency, okay? And in order for you to manifest those things, you have to get on that frequency. So, for instance, right? Say if you want a house or a car, and let me tell you guys something, because I said this earlier, and let me just reiterate this: is never about you receiving the house, the car, the money, the relationship is never about that. What is merely about is about the person that you become in the midst of get receiving those things. Like we don't know when we, setting up goals and stuff like that. None of us know exactly how the thing is going to come into fruition. Okay. Like you may have an idea of so, but you really don't know. Like a good goal, and I really don't care for saying goals and stuff, but something that you are that you desire, a lot of the times you have no clue on how you are going to manifest that thing, because the way our mind is so limited, okay, well, not limited, but our perception of things, okay, we could only see things happening in a certain way, right? So oftentimes I say, well, I'm gonna get the red Range Rover, okay, from me making YouTube videos, or I'm gonna get the 8 bedroom home from me creating content, right? But I don't know exactly if that's how it's going to come together, right? Like I do the work and stuff, and yeah, you do the work and stuff like that. But what you have to understand, the way you think is going to manifest, it may not necessarily manifest that way. Okay. And so, how do you stay on that high frequency? Okay. How do you stay on that high level? Right. Well, one of the things that I've been talking about for a minute now, the books, the books, okay, the Prosperity Bible. And to be exact, I told you guys I am reading um The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wallace. Okay. The books. That's how you're gonna stay on a certain frequency. The books and the audio. Okay. If because let me tell you something. This is what I had to start realizing. Okay. The way you've been doing things is not working. Okay. And if you doing things a certain type of way and you see that you're not producing the results that you seek, then that means that you need to do something different. Okay. And maybe it can be that your attention is on so many things at one time. Okay. Like you have this main objective, right? Like, oh well, I wanna I want to be an artist. I'm gonna be an artist. I write music very well, or I rap very well, or I write poetry so good, right? Or I'm an artist. I paint, and my sculptures or whatever, they so impeccable, they phenomenal. You may have, yes, we all have gifts, but if your mindset is in all different places, okay, it's going to take probably a minute for you to reap that harvest that you say you want, because you're not focused. Okay, you're not focused. And one of the things that my mentor Bob Proctor had taught me is higher faculties. Okay, and he was the only person that I ever heard say this. Okay, we have higher faculties in this here universe, and the higher faculties is reasoning, it is perception, it is imagination, intuition, and will, I believe. Okay. And when you use those higher faculties, okay, I could be off with will, but when you use those higher faculties, you step into a different realm. Okay. So the way you're going to stay on a higher frequency is, I'm going to give you guys another example, right? We all have choices, right? We all have choices. This here life is free will, okay? But free will don't exempt you from these laws of this here goddamn universe. Okay, so because some people are like, all right, but what about free will? And yeah, we do have free will, but free will is not going to exempt you from the manifestation of you violating the laws of this here universe. So somebody could say, all right, but what about free will? All right, gravity is part of is the law of the universe. And if you go off the goddamn on cliff or off the building, you say, oh, but I have free will. Is that going to stop you from actually going down? Okay, if you go to the cliff of a building and misstep, would that stop you because you say, or would that stop you from going down because you say, all right, but I have free will. Free will don't exempt you, okay, from these here laws of this goddamn here universe. And so the laws are set in place, and they will never be like one day the law is this way, tomorrow the law is a different way. No, is steady. Okay? Is steady. What God said today is going to be tomorrow. Okay? So it's steady in this here universe. But in order for you to stay on a high frequency, you have to make choices. Okay? You have to make choices. Like, for instance, with my children, right? At times, right? Like, especially with my youngest daughter, right? Say, for instance, if I'm going to the supermarket, and one of the people who used this analysis was Abraham Hicks, and I thought, well, is so phenomenal, the analysis, the way she put it. You go into the supermarket and you have your children, okay, and you know that you have to pass the candy aisle, okay. Now, some may say, well, I'm going to walk right down the goddamn candy aisle, and I wish my children would touch something. I'm going to tear they up. Okay. But when you doing it, you entering into a certain frequency, a lower vibration. And some may say, oh, well, okay. Then, oh, well, you get what you get. Okay. It's simple. Okay. What I started realizing was in order for me to stay on a higher frequency, okay, first of all, I had to get to know myself. Then, secondly, I have to understand that every time something happens, I don't have to react. Okay. Like a lot of times, people are so used to just reacting and not even like thinking of whatever it is that occurred. They just like, oh, well, I'm going to react. You That's another form. That's why I tell you guys to meditate, okay? Because when you start meditating, instead of you being so instead of you being so reactive, okay, you have time to think and put things into perspective and start understanding that it's not that serious at all, okay? So that's that. So how you gonna stay on a high frequency? You're gonna listen to audios constantly. I mean, what I do now, okay, and this is one of the things that I had to start realizing. Okay, Dina, you gonna focus. You're gonna focus so much. Your focus is gonna be only on what you enjoy doing. Okay. Only on, and the things that I enjoy doing is listening to the audios. It's so crazy, and I believe I got that from my grandmother because when I was a kid, and some of you guys may have heard this story. Okay. Um, hey, I always slay. Hey, peace to you, baby, your favorite. Um, One of the things my grandmother used to do when I was a kid, right? She would listen to like a lot of she would listen to like a lot of educational stuff and like some spiritual stuff, but a lot of educational stuff, like interviews and stuff like that. And I remember as a kid, every I believe it was Saturday morning, no, probably Sunday mornings. Okay, I remember waking up, and my grandmother, she will always watch Like It Is. Okay, I don't even know the interviewer, the guy name or whatever, but she will always watch their show. And at times I would be like, as a kid, you're like, oh my goodness, we watching this again, right? But in those days, you don't get up and just change the channel. Okay. You don't get up and say what you want to see. Okay. And I think because of that and being brought up that way, I think it had instilled in me always wanting to know, like always seeking knowledge, always seeking information, always understanding and knowing that the answer is out there. Okay, let me tell you something. And I had said this many times before. Whatever is going on in your life, the answer is out there. Okay, let me say it again. Whatever may be showing up in your life, the answer is out there. There could never be one side of the spectrum. Okay, there's always two sides. Okay, so there's a problem and there's a solution, and you just have to focus on the solution or putting it out there, like meditating, asking source, like what is the solution, writing a problem out on the paper. Okay, and then just leave it there where you wrote the problem at, and then just go away from the problem. I guarantee you will find that goddamn solution. Okay, but you gotta be solution oriented as opposed to problem oriented, because if you keep paying attention to the problem, guess what? That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna keep coming up with the problem. So you got to focus on something else. So stand on a higher frequency. Okay, those are the things that I tend to do. I listen to audio all the damn time when I find myself like cleaning the apartment, sweeping and stuff like that, putting away clothes or whatever. I'm constantly washing dishes in the shower. I'm constantly listening to mainly Bob Proctor, okay? Mainly Bob Proctor, okay, who was a part of The Secret, who talks about law of attraction. I'm constantly in that mind space, okay, constantly. Because what you want to understand is, and I had said this previous in my other videos, if you are, we've been brought up a certain type of way, all of us mainly, okay? And the way we have been brought up, some of us, and it doesn't matter where you live at, okay? Because one of the things from me being an Uber driver, one of the things that I seen was when you get past culture, people are generally the goddamn same, okay? Get past culture, people are generally the same. And I had all types of people in my car, okay? This is one of the things that you want to understand and get. Is certain things that's embedded in your subconscious mind that have you doing the same thing each and every day. And every time you start coming up with an idea to change your mindset, to change the trajectory of life, okay? Every time you do that, it may seem like something is preventing you from doing that thing, okay? It is the programming. It is the programming. It is the thing that is in your subconscious mind. It is the thing that is telling you you can't do it. It's the thing is the people who you may have grew up with. It could be even your family, okay, or society, whomever. It does not matter, okay. But what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to face that. You're gonna have to put your big boy briefs on and your big girl britches on, and you're gonna have to face it. You're gonna have to start doing things that go against their programming. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is this. I'm gonna give you guys a few examples. When I decided that I wanted my life to change, okay, and I was so accustomed to shopping, okay, buying, Michael Kors was my thing. I used to love buying the Michael Kors bags and the perfumes and pocketbooks and coats and stuff. Like that was my thing because my aunt who had custody of me, um, she was big into luxury stuff. Okay. And I appreciate that. Okay. Because, she was like really big, like, Donnie and Burt bags and, all these different things. She was really big in designing names and stuff. And so I remember I never understood why I liked, certain things, okay? Like why I like, Michael Kors. Some people would say, well, you just like it. No, it wasn't, I just liked it, okay? I like Michael Kors because being a kid and my aunt having custody of me, okay, I could smell the Michael Kors and see, the Michael Kors, the stuff that she would get, mainly Michael Kors perfume. I don't know. I think the original one, okay. Um, from Castro, honey, what flag is that? A Haitian flag? Peace here, baby. Peace there. Peace there. Um, but I remember as a kid, smelled like my aunt always had her fingernails polished. Okay, like she would do her own nails. She would do her own feet. Like very well groomed, like, very well groomed, um, just look like money. Okay. Now, seeing it as a kid, what that embedded in me was to always want the best of the best. Okay. And I remember I would just buy. I was so drawn to Michael Kors. Okay. And when I started doing the work on myself, I start understanding the parallel, like why, okay, and why I was so drawn to it was because as a kid I would see my aunt do it, okay. So sometimes we say, well, our upbringing don't have a part to play into who the person I am today. It has everything to do with the person that you are today. Every part, every part to do with the person you are today. And if let me tell you something, if you don't know like why you do certain things, or if you don't start spending time with yourself, chances are you're not going to perfect who you are. Okay, you're not going to self master who you are. And let me tell you something, the importance of that. Because some may say, well, what's the importance of me self mastering myself? Well, this is the importance. We are all connected. Okay? Let me say this. Let me say this again. All right. In this here universe, okay, one of the laws is oneness. Okay? We are all connected to one another. Okay? So if you say, what's the use, and what's the difference? Me knowing who the hell I am. Well, it's so phenomenal because when you know who you are, you get to know who the next person is. Okay? You get to know who's the next person. One of the books that I highly recommend. Okay. Now, you guys hear me talking about books lately. I've been talking about the Prosperity Bible so much. Okay, because honey, you gonna get your whole 27, I mean 23. I don't know. The price was 24 at one time. Then I seen it went down to $17. Then it went up to 20, I think 27. I don't know. But you gonna get your whole money's worth when you start reading this. And I mean actually reading this. I'm gonna share a story with you guys pertaining to this too. Um, One of the books that I highly recommend reading, and the person that I heard mention was Bob Proctor. I told you guys one of the things that I would do, and I still do it to this day. I listen to successful people. Okay, primarily the people who talks about the law of attraction. Okay, and who have like an in-depth um knowledge of it. Okay, like Kevin Tredone, Bob Proctor, and Abraham Hicks. Okay, Esther Hicks. And I remember one day, like many days, when I'm listening to Bob Proctor, majority of his videos, okay, that's on YouTube, majority of the time he always mentioned a book. Okay. And I remember he mentioned The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. If you do not have that book, I highly recommend you get that book. I done read that book 3 times. Okay. It is such a phenomenal read. I mean, the illustrations that Dr. Joseph Murphy provide in that book, okay, had people thought that even legal cases, okay. One lady, she thought she was gonna lose everything, and Dr. Joseph Murphy told her to do like this visualization and say a few words and stuff like that, and basically Instead of her focusing on the problem. Basically, that's what he was telling her. Don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution, right? And by her putting herself in a higher frequency and not thinking so much about that thing, it shifted things for her. And she actually won her case. It was one example where as though it was a student, okay, who wanted this pocketbook that was a certain amount. And she took one of Dr. Joseph Murphy's lessons. And in a lesson, Dr. Joseph Murphy would say, don't say what you can't afford. Okay. And it was like around Christmas or something during the holidays. And she wanted this bag so bad. She ain't know how she was going to get this bag. Okay. I think the bag was like $300 or so. And she didn't know how she was going to get this bag. And what happened was her fiance had wound up buying her the bag. Okay, the same exact bag that she wanted. Her fiance wound up buying her the bag. Okay, so when I tell you that the thing that you want, and this is another thing that you have to understand and come into terms with, the thing that you want is out there. How will you get it? By staying on a frequency. Where would it come from? It's formless. Is formless. You're going to turn it into form. You're going to turn it into the manifestation. Okay? Because remember, it all starts on in the spiritual realm. Okay? Everything starts in the spiritual. And then it manifests into the physical. So by you staying on that high frequency, and it doesn't matter how much the car is or the clothes is or the home is, none of those things matter. Okay? Because you are so powerful that whatever it is that you desire, you are able to take just from your imagination and believe. You gotta have faith. Okay, faith without works, and you gotta do something. And the something is, you are, for instance, okay, say for instance, I say I want to manifest over 1 million YouTube subscribers, right? And every morning throughout the day, I'm just thinking of ways to inspire people. Okay. I'm reading the books. I'm reading the books. I'm listening to other people that's successful on YouTube. I'm doing the work. I'm listening to the audios. Okay. And I'm challenging myself. Okay. And I'm doing the things because in order for me to tell you guys to get out your comfort zone and do something different, I have to do something different as well, right? So I have to challenge myself. In order for me to tell you to challenge yourself, I have to be challenging myself. And so since my focus is on how could I help? I want to help more than enough people. Who could I serve? Right? If I'm constantly thinking about who can I serve and how could I help? How could I serve humanity or whatever it is like that? Then the solution is going to come. The solution could be, all right, well, continuously read books, continuously, meditate, and you'll get a download on, what your next video should be. And a lot of times that's how I get my ideas. Okay. During my meditation sessions or listening to an audio. And then when I listen to the audio, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so good. Like that topic is so phenomenal. And I take pieces from whoever the speaker is, and I make that my title for my video. So staying on a high frequency is very, very important, because the thing that you desire, it is on a higher frequency. That house, that car, it is on a higher frequency. And in order for you to get on a higher frequency, it is a repetition of constantly reprogramming yourself. And the ways that you are going to reprogram yourself, you're going to constantly listen to stuff that is upbeat. You're going to constantly listen to stuff that is going to put you in a higher vibration, whereas though you start actually knowing you can be, have, do, have whatever that is in this goddamn universe. Because the truth of the matter is you can. Okay? You can. And for me, I would say read the books. Read the books. Okay? And instead of my television being on, I was in here, after I got out the shower, I was in here reading. You gotta read the books. And it's some people who, they're successful and they don't read. But all the ones that I have listened to, they all recommend books. Okay, they all have an astounding library. Okay, all have like a beautiful, magnificent like their library is big. Okay, so all the ones I listen to, they all have a really big, huge library. Okay, so if you know success leaves clues, and you know that what you doing is not working and has not been working, you got to do something different. That's what life is showing you, that your way isn't working. So therefore, you need to do something different. And so with that being said, I love you guys, and I catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you stay at a high frequency. Peace.